Hi, thanks for joining me. It's Zoe Arthurs from Business Basics, and I wanted to bring you a tutorial on how to choose a great brand name. This is so important. So it could be the fact that perhaps you've now got your products, your services, you know what you want to deliver as a business, you've got that fantastic business idea, but now you're moving into the realms of, okay, let's get ready for launch. But you're really struggling with what makes a great brand. Now remember, a brand is completely different to the products and services that you're offering. They should both marry up, but the brand is the complete package. It's about you. It's about you telling your consumer exactly what it is that your product or service does and how it fits in with the values. So let's just have a look here at a couple of things we're going to cover today. So I just want to introduce you to branding in a very simple format. I want you to consider what the importance is of a great brand. And I want you to consider, when deciding upon your great brand, what items it is that are really key to making sure that your message is being portrayed to your end user with the highest possible delivery method. So we're just going to promote some or provoke some sort of thought thinking questions at you and see how you get on with thinking about the different aspects of what is required. So a great brand is an extension of your service or products that you're going to provide. It's providing trust, it's reassurance, and it's telling your end user exactly what it is that you are doing, could be differently or better to your competitors, and how that message is going to come across to them in order to promote repeat business. Now, get the brand wrong and it can have a completely different effect. It can distance yourself from your service or your product offering, and it can actually cause your business to fail in its very early stages. It really is crucial that you make sure and you put some considerable time and energy into the considerations that I'm about to highlight to you. So a couple of things. You could, when you are thinking about your branding strategy, use things like your name. So Hewlett-Packard did this extremely well. As you know, they're a well-known IT and printing company. This could be useful if you've already started your social media strategies. So if you've got a really strong following on social media and people trust you, they trust your name, why reinvent the wheel? Why not have your own name or your founding partner's name as part of your brand awareness and brand strategy going forward? You could also describe what it is you're doing. So what is it you're doing on the tin? You know, Southwest Trains do this extremely well. They are trains that cover the Southwest. It's very black and white, but it doesn't promote a huge amount of creativity. So it's about finding out which of these will fit the market that you are entering into. What is it you want to achieve? What does your customer look like? And we'll cover market segmentation and understanding what it is that your customer actually wants from you in later videos. You could, for example, use an experience or an image or a feeling to describe your business. There's some really good ones out there. You know, Good Vibes Marketing is a great name for marketing. It promotes positivity. So try and keep any name that you come up with a positive spin. You could, for example, take a word completely out of context. A couple of examples I've given you there. Moonpig, random names thrown together, or Apple, the most successful company in the world. It's entirely up to you, but just be aware if you are going for something that's quite extreme and isn't necessarily linked to your product, are people going to remember it for the right reasons? And it's a risky marketing strategy, particularly for a business which is young or new, but get it right. Get the strategy in place with your marketing plan, and actually you could find that you have a highly successful business with a really obscure brand name. Why not make it up? Google did it. Why can't anyone else? So Google actually made up their own name and it's now in the Oxford Dictionary. Be aware, however, when people are searching for web addresses, that brand continuity continues through. If you are going for obscure spellings, it does make it harder for search engines to trawl you. It will make it more difficult for your end user to find you on the internet, because they're also having to remember your name and your spelling, and that could cause some confusion and some delayed response in terms of your customer sales. So again, it's another risky strategy, but get it right, get your social media and your marketing plan correct, and actually, again, as Google have, you could have a highly successful company. So there are a couple of other factors that I just want you to consider. Your business values and mission. Now, quite often, people start up a new business, they identify a gap in the market, and they just sort of go for it. But what I want you to do is just sort of stop and pause. What is it that makes you different? Are you, for example, a clothing brand who is focused on corporate and social responsibility? Does your brand scream that to its end user? What's your mission? Are you giving some of your money back to charity? Are you hoping to change the world? Are you hoping to improve things for others? What is it that makes your business different? And that needs to be conveyed in your brand name, your brand logo, as well as your values and mission going forward. Perhaps your new business has a fantastic story behind it. Perhaps you've endured a loss and you wanted to promote bereavement kits for children, as an example, and you're using your past experiences. Then that's where you can become the face of your brand. It can match your name, your face, and your brand continuity with real ease is now starting to take place. Does your consumer believe the story behind your brand? It has to be genuine, it has to be relatable, and it has to obviously identify the gap in the market. So make sure that when you are pulling in that story of why you've started your own business, the difference that you want to make in terms of your values, your mission, and what you hope to achieve, that actually the whole package comes together and matches exactly what your brand logo and name is telling you. You may also need to think about your competitive positioning. So where do you see yourself sat in the marketplace? Is your brand high end? Are you looking to increase that price point to the highest possible level? Are you a middly brand? Are you looking for mass market appeal? Or are you looking for more niche market segmentations where perhaps you have a very specific set of customers? And again, this is where we go on and we talk about market segmentation and understanding your customer and what it is that they need from you as a business. Because all of these things will be linked into what your brand will look and feel like. You don't want, for example, to be selling quite a low-end product, which is absolutely fine, but with a really high-end logo, because what that will do is alienate your market and make people think that they can't afford it. And that is a very big mistake to make. Maybe you want to think about your business strategy as a whole. So you thought about your business, you've got your fantastic product and service, you've come up with your marketing ideas. So you're thinking perhaps maybe social media platforms, maybe a website, maybe word of mouth or some corporate events. But actually, have you researched your price point? Have you carried out any focus groups in terms of what the business is that you're going to offer? Have you entered any Facebook forums? Have you asked anyone what they think of the product or service that you are about to deliver to an end user? How is your product going to be distributed? Are you then going to have to think about brand continuity in terms of your packaging? Perhaps you're doing mail order products via an e-commerce website. How is that brand logo and brand continuity, your values, your mission, your story, all going to be carried through your all-important, fantastic and great brands that you're currently developing? What tools are you going to use to communicate your brand with your customer? Are you going to be using social media platforms? As I said, if you've already got a really strong following on social media under your own name, why reinvent the wheel? You have that consumer trust there. Don't go with something brand new. Are you going to use things like word of mouth? Perhaps you're going to do mail shots in terms of MailChimp. Perhaps you're going to utilize Google AdWords. You really need to find out what your customer pain points are. What makes them want to buy from you? Why would they buy from you? And how much would they buy from you? There will always be a reason, but you really need to spend some time on research here, and that is what will help you make a really great brand. And all of this, of course, has to be pulled into your marketing and plan and budget. None of us have an endless realm of money. None of us have that famous money tree that some have in the bottom of their garden. So all of this needs to be considered when you're doing your marketing plan and your budget. Can you afford your great brand? Can your consumers afford to purchase your great brand? And these are things that you need to consider when pulling together your marketing plan. But the final question I want you to think about is whether other people understand your corporate identity. Sometimes it's really easy to get swept along in our own excitement when we're generating new business ideas, and that's fantastic. Sometimes we can think we have this great product, we thought of all angles, our price points are right, there's no one else doing it. But stop. Why is no one else doing it? Is it genuinely because they haven't thought about doing it themselves, or is it because it's not required? And how is your brand ideas perceived? I strongly recommend that you put 2 or 3 on a table in a focus group. Ask your friends and family. They are your biggest critics. And ask forums in Facebook about which ones you should go through or follow through with. Sometimes it can just be as simple as getting the font right. Sometimes fonts look brilliant on paper, but actually you can alienate a whole area of the market for those who find a particular font difficult to read. So just think about whether your brand, its image, your business values and mission, and the story behind your brand can all fit nicely into your marketing plan and strategy box before you invest heavily. Draw your own. Use Paint. It's a free tool on the internet and it'll allow you your creative juices to flow without having to pay the high prices of branding agencies. There's nothing better than getting felt tips and pens out and just really getting to grips with what you think your brand should look like, even if, like me, you're not the most creative. So join me in my next videos. We're going to continue talking about branding. We're going to have a look at the psychology behind branding, and we're going to talk about market segmentation as the videos go on. But for now, consider these all important questions. Don't get swept along with a brand that you think is great without having carried out some really intensive research first. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Goodbye.